chocolate chiffon cake is an amazing, light and airy sponge cake, and all you need is some egg whites and egg yolks and a couple other ingredients. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it does take a lot of trial and error before you get the perfect chiffon cake, but I'm gonna show you my way of making it. So before you begin, sift 50 grams of cake flour with 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I bought mine from Trader Joe's, and for the sifting, it's best if you sift the flour 3 to 4 times. Next, separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. Let the whites fall into a big bowl as you try to separate the egg. You just want to move the egg yolks from one shell to the other to try to get the egg white out. So now put the egg yolks in another mixing bowl, and in total you'll need 3 egg yolks and 3 egg whites. Mix the 3 egg yolks for 1 minute to loosen it up, then add 15 grams of white granulated sugar. You want to beat that for a minute until it looks pale and thick. What you're looking for is a mayonnaise consistency. Then drizzle in 35 grams of vegetable oil. Mix that thoroughly. Following the oil comes the milk, and that's 50 grams. And don't worry, all the measurements will be in the description. Now that it looks liquidy, add the sifted flour and cocoa powder and gently whisk that in until combined. It should look like a thick brownie batter. And now let's move on to our egg whites. We're going to beat it into a meringue and fold it into this egg yolk batter. So for the egg whites, first of all, you'll need to prepare 30 grams of white granulated sugar. Then start beating the whites on low to medium speed for a couple seconds until you see large bubbles. Then add 1/3 of the sugar. So that's what I'm doing right now. Keep on beating for 2 to 3 minutes until the bubbles get smaller and finer. That's when you want to add another 1/3 of the sugar. And finally, when the egg whites have doubled and look thick enough, adding the remaining sugar and beat for a final 2 minutes or so. In the end, your egg whites should look glossy, and when you lift the beaters, it should have stiff peaks like so. This process will take you around 7 to 8 minutes. Now for the folding, take 1/3 of the beaten whites and fold that into the egg yolk batter, and use a spatula to gently fold the batter until you don't see any more egg whites. Make sure the batter is very smooth before you pour that batter into the remaining egg whites, and then you want to finish folding. When you're folding the batter, there's actually a specific technique. I don't really know how to explain it, so you can just watch the video. In the future, if I do make another cake recipe, then I'll definitely talk into more detail about the folding. When you're done folding, you shouldn't see any more egg whites, and the batter should be thick and nice and velvety. Now pour the batter into a 7-inch cake pan. I lined the bottom with parchment paper. Don't line the sides with parchment paper. You want to bang the cake pan on the counter a few times and then bake it at 320 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. After it's done baking, bang it a few times, then quickly flip it over onto a cooling rack. After it's cooked completely, remove the pan from the cake and peel the parchment paper off. Make sure the cake is entirely cooled before you slice it into half. A serrated knife works the best. And there's the cake! See, it turned out alright. That's why I decided to make a video, but honestly, this isn't like the best tutorial if you want to know how to make chocolate chiffon cake. Now, a very important tip for successful meringue is using fresh eggs and making sure that the bowl is completely clean and has no water or oil in it. The egg whites is the most important factor in making successful chiffon cake, so your meringue needs to have stiff peaks and it needs to look glossy, smooth, and have almost a velvety texture. It shouldn't feel like clumps of clouds or look overbeaten. Now, I want to let you guys know that my egg whites weren't fresh when I made this cake, so the egg whites didn't come out nice, but fortunately the cake turned out alright, but the texture wasn't perfect, so please use fresh eggs. And this video wasn't really a cake tutorial since my cake wasn't perfect, and I know some of you will probably give me a dislike, but I thought, you know what, I'll just put up this video for anyone who wants to see it. So in the future, if I do make another cake tutorial, I'll definitely explain in detail and make sure that the cake turns out successful. So the rest of the video is just dedicated to decoration. So anyways, that's it. I hope you guys like it, or if you guys didn't like it, just feel free to give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. So anyways, yeah, that's it. So I am done talking now.